Alrighty boyos, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be making a video on my own personal tier list for the retro sci-fi set in Fortnite Save the World. Now before we do jump into it, if you guys would like to use code demonjoefr at gfuel.com, you can and get 30% off for the rest of the month. If you guys do end up doing so, make sure to tweet it at me so I can hit you with a follow. I would greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now this whole tier list thing was actually requested by you guys over on my community tab. I ended up putting out a post which said, howdy boyos, you know, it's been a while since I did a post like this, but what kind of videos would you guys like to see from me? And I got a lot of stuff pertaining to tier list and a few things that were kind of in the same ballpark. The most top rated comment said do a video on what things you should be looking out for in the birthday llamas, and we had another comment down here, you know, could you make more tier list videos like you did with the military set and all that kind of stuff. So in today's video, of course, I will be doing a retro sci-fi tier list, and I'll see if I can leave a link to this in the description if you guys would like to do the same, and maybe, you know, tweet it at me or put it in my Discord server and let me know your own personal tier list. But yeah, so we're gonna do that in today's video. One thing you might notice is that the deatomizer is right here. This is the launcher that's gonna be coming out in about a week. It's not out yet. I'm just going to put it in the C spot for now. If you guys are watching this after the deatomizer does come out, I will leave a link to my review of the weapon and where I think it belongs on the tier list down below. This is the only weapon that has yet to come out for the retro sci-fi set. I'm just going to leave it at C because that's kind of where I'm kind of thinking it might go. Like I said, I'll make sure to let you guys know in the pinned comment down below where I do think this actually does stand on the tier list. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. Let's just kind of go in terms of just going in order, I guess. So first up, we have the Sci-Fi Spear. I believe this is called the atomic light expander thingy. I just call it an anal probe. I have seen some gameplay on the spear and seen a lot of people use it. From what I've seen and from what I've personally used, I'm not too big of a fan of the Sci-Fi Spear. I'm more of a fan of stuff like the Sir Lancelot. The Sir Lancelot, in my opinion, is just completely unmatched. In terms of where the spear stands, I mean, there are some pretty good spear heroes in the game, but in terms of the rest of the weapon set, I'm gonna put it at a B. Or I'm going to put it at a C. I'm going to put this at a C. I mean, it's never been so good to the point where I've been like, oh my god, I need to go out of my way and level this thing up right now. Just Sir Lancelot pretty much has this thing beat, and I don't think the heavy attack from this weapon is anything substantial anyways. From the looks of it, it can really only kill some really low health enemies. So I'm just going to leave this at C, and yeah, I just haven't really heard much about it. Next up, we have the Astro Bat, which is a weapon that I did a review on very recently. Now, where would the Astro Bat stand on this tier list? The heavy attack is a little bit underwhelming in my opinion, not really too good, although this weapon does do some very good damage whenever it comes to the actual attacks of the weapon. And just because I don't think the weapon's bad, right? I think the only reason that this weapon falls short a little bit is because of the lack of actual club heroes. I'm going to put the Astro Bat under B. I think the Astro Bat isn't bad. It's only held back by the fact that there aren't really any club heroes in the game. So I'm going to put it at B because it's really not the club's fault that it kind of underperforms in some areas. In general, clubs are pretty bad anyways, but that's because heroes really aren't in the game to make them better. So I'm going to put the Astro Bat at B. Next up, we have Azalea Clark. This is the mythic hero, which comes from the storyline, and she gives you an exploding shock tower, and she also makes it as to where your energy damage, you know, your energy ability damage will be increased. Where would I put Azalea Clark? In all honesty, even though her shock tower isn't that good, and I think a lot of people might disagree with me here, because a lot of people like to call this character 100% trash, in my personal opinion, I'm going to put this character under, I want to put her in A so bad, but I don't think I can actually put her under A because of her, the way that she is as a commander. I'm going to put Azalea Clark in B, and the reason why is because her support, you know, her support ability, the fact that she's able to increase energy ability damage is absolutely insane. So I'm going to put her at B because she is just overall a pretty decent character. She's not A tier. If they were to buff her shock tower just a little bit, make it to where it attracts enemies to it, makes it to where it might shock people before it explodes, I would have her in A tier, but I'm actually going to leave her in B tier. Next up, we have Cyberclops. This is easy. It's just done deal. I don't even need to think about it. Cyberclops is ridiculous. Anything that does energy damage in the game is going to have a 20% chance to bullet chain to another enemy. Cyberclops is an easy S tier for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really need to say about it. Cyberclops is one of the best Outlanders in the game. And if you guys do miss out on, the phase shift ability for Cyberclops, you could either treat him like a soldier, or you could just use the Spectral Blade and you'd be able to travel a little bit faster. Cyberclops is ridiculous. Next up, we have the Plasmatron. Now, the Plasmatron is something that I personally have maxed out with all legendary perks. And I feel like, at first, I really didn't like the weapon. But I feel as though the Plasmatron is a little bit underrated, especially if you were to use it with Zenith. I'm going to put the Plasmatron in A tier. I think this weapon is a little bit overlooked by some people, and some people might not like it as much because of its fire rate. And of course, because you have to zoom in so much whenever you use it. But I have used this weapon with Zenith, and I do heavily enjoy it. I'm going to put the Plasmatron in A tier. Now, for the next one, we have the Plasmatron Mini. Where would I put the Plasmatron Mini? For me personally, man, I absolutely have fallen in love with this weapon. It's an S tier. For me personally, this weapon is an easy S tier. I don't think anything can touch the Plasmatron Mini. It is like a pistol, which is a hybrid with an assault rifle. It has assault rifle range. It does really good damage, even though it's locked to energy, and that might be its only downside. You, of course, can make sure that you have Cyberclops to make it even better. I just like the damage of this thing. I like the range of it, and just overall, it's pretty fantastic. Now, next up on the list, we have Eddie, and I'm not entirely sure what Eddie does, so I'm just going to go ahead and check Fortnite really quick, because I haven't memorized all of these guys. I haven't really used them all, like 100%, but I know some people that definitely have, and have given me their feedback on it. So Eddie, critical hits with melee weapon energy damage, adds 96% of current shield to damage, so this is essentially a lot like, isn't it Paleo Luna? She allows your melee damage to kind of take from your health. And from what I've heard, especially from Death Grip, Eddie is an absolute fantastic character. So I'm going to put Eddie, I mean, from the sounds of it, he sounds very, very good. Although I'm not sure how he really compares to Paleo Luna. But I know Death Grip's been using him a lot and has been giving me a lot of feedback on how good he is. I'm going to put Eddie in the A tier. I don't know if I would ever use him to the point where he would be S tier. Like I said, I personally haven't really used him, but I've definitely got a lot of feedback from other people. And from the sounds of it, this guy's absolutely fantastic if he's going to be able to take from your shields and turn that into melee damage. Now, because we're already talking about that, Eddie definite A tier. Intergalactic Kin is somebody that is very similar to Eddie, where you'll be able to get a kill, and it's like Shield Survivalist, where it takes your kills and it goes to your shield and gives you extra shield, is something that's definitely really good for Eddie, and his commander perk also makes it as to where his throwing stars do energy damage. I'm going to put Intergalactic Kin in B tier. From the sounds of it, he definitely sounds like somebody that would be pretty good for throwing stars and make throwing stars pretty decent, but also he's somebody that's definitely going to buff Eddie and make him do some insane damage by keeping his shields up. So I'm going to put Intergalactic Kin in B tier only because, we were just talking about Eddie. Go ahead and throw him in B tier because he seems like a pretty decent character. Next up, we have the Gammatron 9000. Now, for those of you guys that do come out to my live streams, you guys know that the Gammatron 9000 is easily my favorite gun in the game right now. What would I rank it? I would rank it a definite A tier. Now, in terms of how it performs, I probably would not put it in an S tier, but in the terms of just how much I like it and how just far above average this thing is, it's fantastic. I've had Death Grip do some tests with it. He actually found out that this weapon is better than a Wraith, only if the Wraith is locked to energy. If the Wraith is, of course, turned into an elemental weapon, where it's like fire against the Nature Smasher, the Wraith will outperform the Gammatron, but having this weapon locked to energy does hold it back, but not enough to make it anything under an A. This is a definite S to A tier for me, and of course, you can even buff it further with people like Cyberclops. Now, next up, we have the Husk Warper hammer. The Husk Warper hammer. This is by far one of the best hammers in the game, and it's absolutely ridiculous in the damage output it can put out. For me, it's an S tier. This thing is nothing to be messed with. You do not want to mess with the Husk Warper. It's absolutely insane. This thing does crazy damage. It pulls husks in with a black hole ability. It's just 100% ridiculous. And yeah, I've used it personally. I've seen a lot of other people been using it and absolutely wrecking face with it. For me, Husk Warper is a definite S tier. Next up, we have Terrestrial Rio. And this character basically allows you to pop shields faster from the shield husks. And yeah, I'm just going to put her in F tier. I have never seen anybody use her. I have never seen anybody use her as a support or a commander, even talk about her. She looks cool. She's one of the more interesting heroes in terms of looks in the game. But for me, she is an F. She is pretty bad. Next up, we have the Plasmatron. This is the last weapon. This is the ray gun from the retro sci-fi set. And whenever we used it, it ended up having maxed out, I guess, magazine. You really couldn't run out of ammo. It didn't have any cooldown or anything like that. Assuming that this thing does get fixed, and this might be a controversial pick for some people, and I'm not doing it because it's not filled already, but I'm going to have to put it in the D tier. I don't know. It's just the way that this weapon works personally for me. I was really hyped whenever it first came out, and I really did enjoy it. But I think comparatively to the rest of the set, I'm just going to have to put it in the D tier. I don't really see many people, especially ever since it first came out. I've never seen anybody make use of this weapon, and it's just, I don't know, you know, especially after it gets fixed and you're going to have to cool it down and you're going to have to worry about your recharge rates and all that kind of stuff. You know, it was pretty good whenever it had unlimited ammo, but I think especially after those fixes come into play, if they haven't already been put into play, like I said, I haven't seen anybody using it, I would probably leave it in the D tier. Now, that is pretty much it for my tier list, guys. We have Cyberclops and the Blastatron Mini and Husk Warper in the S tier. We have the Blastatron, Eddie, and Gammatron in A tier. The Astro Bat, only because it's held back by the fact the heroes aren't as good. The Astro Bat, Azalea Clark, and Intergalactic Kin in B tier. The Deatomizer, which we don't know yet. You know, I have a linked comment, you know, I have a pinned comment down below as to where this actually falls into play. And the Light Expander in C tier. The Plasmatron in D tier, and Terrestrial Rio in F tier. So I do want to hear from you guys down in the comments what you do think about my tier list. What are your own tier lists? If you guys do want to make this one, like this one specifically, and you want to tweet it at me, I'll try to have a link in the description so you can make your own. But yeah, guys, that is my own personal tier list for the retro sci-fi set. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm curious what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly do appreciate it. If you guys would like a video like this on the birthday llamas, make sure to let me know. But guys, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.